the way we've structured this relationship is that it's sort of, I think as the knowledge I know, we're giving 100% of our oil in a subsidy to the United States. And we sort of like block the pathway of shipping it to other countries by boat.
So we can't refine our own oil. That's our issue. If we had a refinery, then we could do a lot of things. But because we can't refine it, we have to basically sell it to the US where they can refine it. And they know we can't refine it ourselves. So then they get to say, okay, then give it to me for a discounted price. Because otherwise I won't buy it. What are you going to do?
Hello, guys. Welcome to the episode. Today we have Shervin House, a friend and a YouTuber and a professional musician.
Yes, sir. I mean, I wouldn't call it professional, but semi-professional maybe.
Semi. How are you, brother?
Good. How are you?
Good. Some stuff has happened. This is the first episode that I've created my new channel.
Yep. Congrats.
Thank you. Already at 130 subscribers.
There you go.
Look at that.
Killing it.
Yeah. But actually, this is our second time being on the episode because you were before on the number 17.
Yeah. The first run before the whole podcast went kaboom.
Yeah. But for people that are wondering like where they can find it, it will be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts called the Sadger Podcast and then the number 17.
Are you going to re-upload them at any point in the future or no?
I was thinking I'll probably just have them for like YouTube membership eventually and like Patreon.
Okay. It's like the OGs if you want to see the OG episodes.
Yeah, it's true, bro.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, imagine like I'm at 200 and like the first 43.
There you go.
Like that, yeah.
Nice.
But you recently did a YouTube video that absolutely blew up.
It did okay.
Yeah. So can you guys give us the stats?
Like how many views you mean?
So the views, watch hours, how many hours it went through it, the whole process from start to finish of even like shooting it, the idea.
Sure. So it was a video about the 51st, Canada being the 51st state, because there was a lot of talk around it. Obviously, Trump was talking about, we want the 51st state, whatever. And so I had the idea of covering it, right? Because it's a very interesting topic. And also it was really trendy. And I've been thinking about doing more trendy stuff for a little while. You know, I've been making a lot of just personal finance content for the first couple of years that I was making YouTube videos. But I wanted to branch out. I wanted to try new things. So that was a part of it for sure. Like doing more trendy topics, whatever's going on in the news, whatever. And so I picked this one. I said, we're Canadians. We know we have some perspective on this. And also I've read a lot on this topic. I know that there's a lot of stuff in contention, particularly with the Northwest Passage, which is this pathway that goes through the northern part of Canada. It's like a water passage that connects the two oceans, the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean, without having to go through, the Panama Canal or whatever. It's a much faster way to ship products for a lot of countries. And if, for example, China or some country like that could access this pathway, it could be it could be very beneficial for them because they could ship their products much faster and for a lot cheaper than they would through other avenues. Right. So this is and this was one part that, some people have mentioned that, this might be the reason why Trump is interested in Canada or whatever. But the majority of the commentators on this topic were very surface level. They were like, Trump is just like Putin. He wants more land or whatever. Right. So I figured, there's a topic that I know a little bit about. I can bring a perspective that, some people have mentioned it, but it's not like the majority of people are talking about this. And, I can maybe perhaps do it with a nice bit of editing, some cool effects and whatever. And we'll see how it does. And it just did really well. And yeah, that's usually how it goes. You try stuff until something works.
Exact. Try and error.
100%.
But the Northwest Passage, it seems that you have research around it.
Yeah. So I'd read a lot about it just because, first I saw a YouTube video about a year ago about this topic, way before the 51st thing was even a thing. And they were just talking about how the Arctic pathways are, first of all, they're opening up, right? Because traditionally ships had a very hard time going in the Arctic waters because, there's a lot of ice. It's not exactly easy to navigate there. But as more and more of the ice is melting, the pathways are it's a lot more doable to go through those pathways with your ships, right? So it is becoming a very contentious issue, slowly but surely, because eventually everyone wants to be able to use that pathway because it's just so much shorter, right? And I saw a YouTube video about this a year ago. I thought it was really interesting. I read up a little bit about it. And then once the whole 51st state thing started kicking off, that was the first thing I thought of. I was like, oh yeah, that the whole Canada's, pathway. I wonder if that has something to do with it. And then he started talking about Greenland, which is another part of the pathway, because the pathway goes in like the northern part of Canada and then between Canada and Greenland. So he was targeting Greenland, Canada, and then he started talking about the Panama Canal. I was like, there's something going on with shipping here. I smell something. So yeah, I did a bit more research on it, and I just put that video together.
So who has access to this pathway currently?
So right now, it's actually there's a lot of contention around whether it's Canadian waters, like the pathway is a Canadian body of water, or if it's international waters. Because in international waters, anyone can just go, right? But if it's a Canadian pathway, then that means that you need to have permission from Canada to be able to use it. Or if Canada wants to like charge fees or whatever for entering it, they could do that, right? Now, funnily enough, everyone recognizes this pathway as of this moment to be Canadian, except for the US. The US is like, no, that's international waters. But yeah, there's a lot of, not currently, as far as I know, not a lot of people are using it, but countries like China and Russia and whatever, they are looking to use it. So that could be where the contention is, and particularly with the US. Can you imagine like if they have access or if they have like say over what happens with that pathway? It doesn't even have to be a 51st scenario, right? It doesn't have to be like Canada's part of the US. As long as the US gets to dictate, okay, Canada do this or allow this person or don't allow this person. Can you imagine if they just turn around and say, hey, China, if we want to, we can just not let you use this passage unless you do this other thing I want. Yeah. That's a very powerful leverage to have for sure.
So what's your personal opinion about this? We can dive in there, like about the whole 51st state and the things. Well, just this topic, because Trump is doing a lot. Actually, in the first month, he's been banging out
100%
on it.
This man has no chill. It's just like after it, right? I have like several opinions. First, I would start by saying that on one hand, I understand why so many Canadians are so dismissive of it. But I would say that there's nothing wrong with considering something, right? Like you can consider something and say, okay, no, that doesn't work for me, or I'm not interested. But to be so dismissive could be dangerous, right? Because if you end up in a trade war with the US, or God forbid, if there's any military involvement or anything like that, that's not good, right? And also, like, if you look at other solutions, if you really don't want Canada to be annexed or something, there's still other solutions that are possible. I mean, look at the European Union, for example. Look at the UK. So the UK is 4 countries, actually. It's not one country, contrary to popular belief. England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland are all separate countries. It's just that their union has this very special thing where they also have like a central government, but they're still each their own countries, right? So
and that's UK.
That's the UK, yeah. So again, there are other solutions that are possible, right? Like it doesn't necessarily even have to be annexation. But I feel like a lot of people are just like, no, Trump, orange man, bad guy, right? So F that, right? That's how a lot of people approach it. And I think it's okay to consider it. It's okay to, think about what are the benefits, what are the downsides, and then just assess what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah, I think the way we've structured this relationship is that it's sort of, I think as the knowledge I know, we're giving 100% of our oil in a subsidy to the United States. And we sort of like block the pathway of shipping it to other countries by boat.
So we can't refine our own oil. That's our issue. If we had a refinery, then we could do a lot of things. But because we can't refine it, we have to basically sell it to the US where they can refine it. And they know we can't refine it ourselves. So then they get to say, okay, then give it to me for a discounted price. Because otherwise I won't buy it. What are you going to do? Right? And that's the whole thing. And, we don't have pipelines to BC if you want to like ship it anywhere else. Like you can't ship oil from the middle of Calgary, right? Because how are you going to ship it? So you would need to have pipelines, but of course BC doesn't want pipelines because environment and whatever. So there's a whole a bunch of shenanigans going on at the same time. That is.
Yeah. The way I see it is that we've let US have so much leverage over us.
I mean, that's Canada though, right? Like Canada's always been that country that's like, oh, we're just chilling here, whatever. And if you just chill in front of a bully, the bully is gonna take advantage. I mean, you can't blame the bully for saying, oh, okay, I can take advantage of you. Perfect. Well, don't be so easy to take advantage of, right? That's how I think about it, at least.
I definitely agree. That was a good way to put it.
Yeah, 100%.
Can you tell us your full journey that has taken you here?
On YouTube, you mean?
YouTube, in life, sort of like, what were some key lessons and takeaways you've learned so far?
Well, I mean, there are several. How long do we have? Because, perhaps I can talk about this one. So if you, failure is a topic that I think it's always valid, regardless of time or regardless of situation, because everyone will fail at some point or something or whatever they're doing at whatever point in their lives, or whether it's the year 2000, the year 2100, whatever. I think the concept of failure is a very interesting one. So, particularly with YouTube, for example, I've made hundreds of videos on YouTube, right? And this was the first one that got 100,000 views, right? So it took, I believe I started making YouTube videos in September of 2021. So about 3.5 years ago, something like that. And in that whole time, right, there have been numerous times where I've made a video, I put hours and hours of work into it, tons of research, filming it, 10 plus hours of editing. You put it up and it gets 20 views, and that's it, right? And you can imagine how discouraging that is. You're like, what am I doing with my life? I'm just spending all this time doing this, doing that, and I actually really like the video. I think it's really good. Why is no one watching it, right? And some people might look at that and say, okay, you failed. You're done. Well, this is not for you, right? Like, YouTube's not for you, or this other thing's not for you. You're not good at it, right? But there's also another way to look at that, right? There's that famous quote by Thomas Edison that says, I didn't fail. I just found 10,000 ways not to make a light bulb. And then eventually he makes the light bulb, right? It's a very valuable lesson that I think a lot of people overlook, that, failure is not the end of it. That you can just keep going. The whole mindset of it's not over until I win, right? Like, when think about it this way, when we were kids, right? Let's say you're playing a video game. If you lose one time, you don't just say, oh, okay, then that's it. I'm going to throw that video game out now. We're done, right? You're okay, no, let's go again. And then you go again, you fail again. You're like, no, let's go again. Why? Because it's not over until you win, right? That's the mindset you have. And that's something that a lot of us forget when we, get into our adult life and we're doing things. And to be fair, some people can't afford to have that kind of a bandwidth because, they have a family that's relying on them. They have to make sure they make ends meet. So a lot of people just are not in a position where they're able to keep doing something over and over again if it's not working out right away, right? They'd be much better off just getting a job and just making sure everyone, their family's taken care of and everything. But unless that's your situation, I think a lot of people give up way too easily. And they don't try to go after it. Like you don't do this, right? Like, I've noticed you've been doing your podcast for a long time. You said this is episode 47 or whatever?
This one right now?
Yeah, this one.
It's 56.
56, perfect. So that means you've done 55 other podcasts so far, right? Have any of them got 100,000 views?
No.
But you're still here making them, right?
Yes.
And that's the whole the mindset that really gets you to the finish line is that exact mindset, right? It doesn't matter if this one didn't do as well. What can I learn from it? How can I improve it? On to the next one, right? And that's something that a lot of people don't do, right? Do you feel that you do this yourself?
Reflection?
Or just, maybe being disappointed. That's something to do as well. But you're like, doesn't matter. We keep going. Live another day, fight another day, any of that.
The thing with me in this podcast is that this is sort of a passion project.
Of course.
So if it never even reaches 100,000 views, I would still be content because I met great people, had great conversations, learned a lot, and that's that. I obviously wanted to do great, but if it doesn't get there,
sure, I
still love it.
That's good. That's a good mindset to have as well. But also just not getting bogged down by disappointments, I think, is important, because sometimes you are doing something seriously. Like, I'm sure, you take your career, for example, seriously. Like, if you apply for a job and you get rejected, and then you apply for another job, you get rejected, and you apply for 5 more and you get rejected from those, right? You don't give up, right? You're like, it didn't work out, but it's okay. We go again, right? That's the same mindset that I think is very important to have.
Yeah, you have to keep going 1 foot in front of the other.
Exactly.
Wake up, do the same thing, regardless of how
it's not over until I win. That's the key mindset.
The question that comes to mind is, do you know Alex Hormozi?
I do know him, but I'm not like a huge fan that like has seen a lot of his content or anything. I've seen him like in passing, like on Instagram or whatever.
Do you have knowledge about him? What do you think?
I know he started a gym or something. I actually don't know that much about him. So enlighten me. What has he done?
Yeah, so he started a gym business, and he used to sleep at his gym for like years, and mastered sales, and then he got like 10 gyms and just expanded, and then eventually he was so successful. He was like, I just make this into a formula and sell it to gym owners, so that gym owners can do the same thing. And then after he did that, he sold 66% of his company in Gym Lunch, called Gym Lunch, that program. And then he came to acquisition.com, which right now he buys different various businesses and looks at their numbers and kind of just grows them.
Okay.
So that's what he does. And his wife, Layla, who they're actually half Persian. Alex is half Persian. They do that. But I think the content that he puts out about business in general and how to go about it is very valuable. I find it very valuable.
What does he say?
He sort of just talks about, he had 9 failed businesses.
9, wow.
9 failed business. And he was like, you go, and if you fail, you just keep going till you have to succeed only once and you're set.
That's true.
So he has those motivational speeches for sure.
Yeah.
And he also teaches about business, like how to look at numbers, how to optimize different avenues for client acquisition and stuff like that, which is in my alleyway because I have my own AI company, which actually we're getting the MVP done today.
Nice.
Yeah, and going about it. So, yeah, I think it's good knowledge to have. I really
What company do? What is the?
Yeah, it's called Set. So it's a voice AI agent. So
Nice.
if you call a business, it's 2 avenues.
Oh, is it like customer whatever?
It's like setting appointments.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, appointments, and then also looking at their CRM. For example, if you call a med spa and no one answers, the AI will pick up like, "Hey, Jennifer," for example. "Jennifer, you came for a massage like 2 weeks ago. How was it?" And this is all AI.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah, and it was like sets to the next appointment, and just that. So kind of like make sure.
That's a saturated area, isn't it?
It's only 2 years old.
It is, yeah. But I've seen a lot of companies that do similar things. Like, have you thought about like how you're gonna stand out, or were you doing different?
They do similar things, but we're building our CRM beside it as well, and it's gonna be like a whole package. And also, I'm not sure if you're familiar. They charge like 9 cents per minute.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So,
how much are you charging?
Much cheaper.
Nice. Okay, so that's your comparative advantage.
Yeah. I know I can tell you our costs and like probably.
All right, we'll talk about that afterwards.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, so that's sort of like, because it's just more generalized, like plug and play. Like it makes sure no business misses any phone calls anymore, misses appointments, and that translates to money not lost.
So if you work in telecommunications and you get fired, you can file your complaints to this guy for being responsible for putting you out of a job.
It's true.
It is the future, to be fair.
I must say, in the next 6 months to a year, I believe that AI will get so good that it will be indistinguishable to notice it from against like a human speaking to you.
Definitely at some point, even if it's not a year, in the next couple of years,
foreseeable future.
Point. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't know if you how closely you're following. I'm sure you are because you have a company, right? But a couple weeks ago, I think Sam Altman had this blog post where he was talking about how AI is improving about 10x every single year, and the paradigms that they found recently supports that it will keep going this way for at least the foreseeable future, and he believes that they will find other paradigms afterwards. So for the foreseeable future, this technology is going to keep getting better and better and better at an incredibly unbelievable rate. 10x a year is crazy. Can you imagine if your phone got 10 times better a year? That would be insane.
Yeah.
Like, in 3 years, that would be 1,000 times better. Like, what? What does that even mean? Like, it's insane to imagine. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It is crazy. And eventually, like, I see a future that businesses, because our AI can handle 500 calls in parallel. So there's no hold time. There's nothing. You can just, you can just take care of clients. So for a business,
So you don't play music or whatever, elevator music.
no,
Nah.
that would have been fun.
That
You
would,
can add it to it.
yeah, definitely.
But eventually, like if instead of a business paying 60,000 to a front desk lady, they just pay us like 8,000.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Makes perfect sense.
it's unfortunate. Like we don't want to do this, but we have
Yes,
to.
you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. But no, that's the really terrifying part is that that's gonna happen to a lot of jobs. It's not just this, right? Like think about taxi drivers. Once we have fully autonomous and reliable cars, that's not that far away, guys. Like I don't know if you saw my story. So I was in San Francisco like about 6 months ago, and I try you know what Waymo is?
It's the no, enlighten me.
So it's Google's self-driving car, but it's available to the public in 4 cities right now, or 5 or whatever. So San Francisco was one of them. So you could order it just like you order Uber, right? So I wanted to try one, right? So I got the app, I ordered one, and it came and picked me up, fully autonomous, no one else in the car. The steering wheel was like just steering on its own. It was insane to look at. I sat in the back, and I was just watching it, and it was crazy. It was so good. You wouldn't believe how good it was. In fact, it was so good that it was better than a human driver because it would do things so fast and adapt to situations that I was just amazed. Like, for example, imagine you're like going down this road, and the car in front of you, let's say you're in the leftmost lane, right? The car in front of you wants to turn left, but there's incoming traffic, so they can't quite go. Even though it's a green, if it's a green light, they can't still go. They're just waiting. The car immediately saw that this guy is, trying to go. He had the signal going. He's trying to go left. Realized there's no one on the right, so it just immediately switched the lane, went past the light, and then came back into the same lane. And I was like, "What? That's crazy!"
Clean.
I know, right? Like, or there was another one where it was this one road where. You know how if there's 2 yellow lines, you're not supposed to like cross over, but if there's one, at sometimes you can, whatever. So there was one yellow line, right? And we were going, and this taxi was in front of us, and the taxi just stopped so that someone can just get out of the taxi, right? And this car immediately realized, oh, the taxi is stopping. No one's coming from the other side. It just went around the taxi, even though it went into the opposite direction lane. It just went over, came right back in. It was crazy. No time, no waiting, figuring out what's going on. Like, if it was me, I would, like, take a second. Like, this. That guys. And then I'm like, oh, can I go on the 1 or 2 or whatever? I guess 1 is fine. Anyone coming? No, none of that. It just automatically did it. It was crazy. It was crazy to look at. But it's insane, man. It's coming. It's already that good. Imagine how good it's going to be in a year or two. And then after that, it's just regulation, I think.
It's just the beginning, bro. For everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Everything, yeah. Groke actually came out with an update, I believe, yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday or 2 days ago.
Yeah, and their benchmark was like unreal.
Yeah, beat everything. Yeah, it's great. I mean, you would expect it because they put so much money into it.
And it's Elon Musk. I mean.
Yeah, it is Elon Musk. But I mean, GPT 4.5 is only a couple of weeks away. So, yeah. So, Sam Altman also talked about this on Twitter. I follow all this stuff, by the way.
Yeah.
So, he talked about this for hours. But a couple of days ago, he tweeted that GPT 4.5 is the next one they're putting out. And that one is coming in a couple of weeks from whenever we're recording this. By the time this comes out, it's probably already out, to be honest. Yeah. But then after that, they're already started training GPT-5, which is going to come out in a couple of months. And then GPT-5 is going to combine all these different models. So we had the 01, 03 model. We had the 4.0 model. It's going to combine all of that. So the distinctifying feature for 01 and 03 was that they would take more time to think. And that was a new paradigm they found, is that if your model just takes time to think before answering, let's say instead of taking 1 millisecond, it takes like 2 minutes. And that means that now the answer is 100 times or 1,000 times better, or as if it was trained on 100 times or 1,000 times as much data or money or spent or whatever, right? And what they're doing with GPT-5 is that they're trying to come up with a new solution where, depending on the question, how difficult your question is, the model can first recognize, do I need to think a lot about this, or can I just answer fast? Like if it's a normal question, like, what color is the sky usually? Like, you probably shouldn't
Yeah.
think about that too much. You just say blue, right? But if it's a really complicated math question or whatever, or if it's a very philosophical question where it needs to like analyze a couple different philosophers' ideas or whatever, and then combine that into a conclusion, then it can take more time on that. Or if it's trying to like figure out, oh, how is this protein folding or whatever, how can we use that to find a cure for this disease, it can take more time on that, right? And spend more money on it as well to have a lot of compute available. So if the model can recognize that, that's huge, because that means that you can use the same model for all your queries, and depending on how difficult they are, the model can spend more time and give it more care to give you a better answer.
Yeah, it has that autonomy to decide by itself.
Yeah, exactly. And the ability, because right now the O series models, they all think, right? They never answer fast. So no matter how easy your question is, it thinks about it first for a couple of seconds at least, or maybe a little bit longer, and then it answers you. But what they want to solve with GPT-5 is basically have all of those available. So if you want to speak to it really fast on voice mode, for example, you can do that, right? It doesn't think every time for like a minute before it answers you. But then if you ask a very difficult question, you can say, okay, let me think about this or whatever, and it takes a minute or two or whatever, and then it gives you an answer.
Who do you think is going to win this AI sort of chatbot war that's going on currently?
The humans. We're going to win it, because we get to see all these different companies. They all try to push each other to do better and better and better. And also they keep each other accountable, right? Like if one AI really screws up in an area, that's also a liability, right? And that's, I think, very important. Like in the early stages of Gemini, I remember there was a lot of controversies with the way it was portraying like some historical characters or whatever, some historical figures, I should say, not characters. But, that's the other thing, is that if your AI, is saying a lot of nonsense or whatever, then all of a sudden that's also a liability. So that's something you have to be careful of as well. Whereas if there was only like, let's say, one model that was much better than all the other models, then maybe you could get away with that a little bit, right? So it's very good that there's a healthy competition going on. Everyone's after it. There's DeepSeek coming from China as well, which is looking crazy. But yeah, that's good. I think we're all going to win. We're going to be the winners. These guys are going to kill themselves to try to get the best one, and we're going to be the beneficiaries.
Yeah, DeepSeek actually, on a tangent, for my company, DeepSeek's API cost is like
it's really
exponentially cheaper.
So do you use DeepSeek?
Yeah, we use DeepSeek, Claude, and OpenAI's models.
You use all three?
Yeah, all three. But then if like the costs are high on this one, it piggybacks on the other.
I see.
Okay. Did you see the update with Apple? I mean, ChatGPT is part of Siri now.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know. Sam Altman he's
making the money, huh?
Yeah, he's getting in those closed doors somehow.
100%. I mean, they had meetings with Hollywood execs a while ago, about a year ago or so. God knows what came of that. I mean, Sora's available. Have you tried Sora at all?
I've never tried Sora.
I have tried it a bunch. It's actually not good. Not that good. And the reason for it is, I think, because they've made it available to so many people that right now it's they have to offer it at a very low compute. Because, I mean, if they offer a lot to a lot of people, then the costs are going to go through the roof, right? Now, their pro models apparently get better result. I don't have the pro subscription. I just have the plus subscription for ChatGPT. But if you have the pro, apparently it's a little better. I don't know. But what I've tried, it's actually not that good. Like, it has a lot of errors. Like, you say, oh, show me a guy, like, walking, and the guy walks weird, or, like, one of his legs is larger than the other one or whatever. It's always, from what I've seen. Or, oh, show me a mountain bike, like, in the wilderness, and, like, the bike is, like, biking on the, like, it's floating above the ground or something. It's weird. But, yeah, I think it'll be better. It'll be better in, like, the next year or two.
Give it a year, and it's 10 times better, as we spoke.
100%. Exactly. And soon enough, it's going to be amazing, I imagine.
Yeah. What's your craziest story in the YouTube space?
My craziest story as far as like my own YouTube channel, do you mean? Or
just in general, like what you've heard, or like, yeah, maybe your YouTube channel, just in general, per se.
I mean, the comments are crazy. I'll tell you that. So on the video, the 51st state video that I made, I got about like 115,000 views, about 1,600 comments. And the comments were crazy, man. Like, some people have all the time in the world. I'm telling you, some of these comments were essays. I'm like, bro, like I would read the beginning of it. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't have time to sit down and read every single one of these. This is crazy. What am I supposed to do with this? But yeah, everyone's so opinionated on Trump specifically.
I don't know why.
I do know why, because like when in 2016 he said a lot of wild stuff, right? To generate a lot of attention, get stuff going.
Yeah, he really tarnished his image that back then.
In the eyes of some people, yeah, definitely. Yeah, but it was like I'm pretty sure it was on purpose. I mean, that was kind of like Andrew Tate. You know how like he used to say a lot of crazy things? Because when you say crazy things, you get a lot of attention on you, right? And I think what Trump was doing as well was something similar to that. And also remember, at the time, every little thing he said seemed really crazy because the times were also very different. Like, I don't know how well you remember like 8 years ago, but we found so many things offensive that nowadays we're like, okay, come on, man. It's not that big a deal, right? It was a very different time. I feel like the culture has shifted a lot. And
I love this shit. I feel like I'm gonna say it. I feel like people are waking up. I feel like there's changes happening.
I wouldn't say that. I would say it's diverging into people who are either going counterculture or more deeper into the existing culture from back a couple years ago. Because, man, some circles are even crazier nowadays. They're much more into whatever they were looking. I mean, look at all the votes that Kamala Harris got.
Yeah, extremists, bro.
There are a lot of people who would vote, like, and a lot of people said this. I would vote for a dead body over Trump. How crazy is that? When do you hear that about any president ever? And you don't have to love Trump. If you hate Trump, that's fine. But to vote for a dead body over that, come on, man. that's next level, right? That's not just, oh, I don't like this guy or I'd prefer this other candidate. No, this guy is devil himself, right? That's how a lot of people look at it.
How have they been to this conclusion? I mean,
the media definitely doesn't help.
Yeah.
Media
whole
definitely...
machine, I believe.
I mean, if I had a nickel for every time they called Trump a Nazi or something, I mean, I'd be the richest man in the world probably. It's crazy.
Here, we can talk about what Elon Musk did. Like, I know he didn't mean it that way, but oh my God, that was tough too.
I mean, here's the thing. There are images of Obama extending his hand. There's images of Kamala extending. What is all those Nazi salutes to? Like,
yeah,
we need to all relax, guys.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
At some point, someone raises their hands. It happens, right?
Yeah, like my heart goes out. That's yeah, exactly.
If someone wants to do the salute, I'm pretty sure they will make it very clear, right? It's not gonna be ambiguous. Like, oh, this is what he did. No, I didn't. No, it is what you did. Like, come on. Like, we need higher IQ discussions in politics, to be honest with you.
I agree.
Like, it's totally fine if you don't like Trump. It's totally fine if you don't like Musk. It's totally fine if you have any opinion. That's fine. But, guys, come on. Don't make these stupid arguments. Like, oh, that's the Nazi salute.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I had to break it to you.
Have you looked into Doge? The Doge department that Elon's...
A little bit. Nothing that crazy. I mean, it's very interesting. I've considered maybe like making a video on it at some point. And if I do, I would look into it a lot. Yeah, but there's so much craziness that's coming out of it. Yeah, some of these...
It's insane.
It is insane.
It's
actually not that insane. To be honest, I actually expected this a little bit.
Well, I expected it, but not to this extent.
Like, I've heard from a lot of people about, like, here in Canada, for example, I've heard from a lot of people how easily they get certain contracts that are very beneficial for them and not so beneficial for the government that's giving out the contract. I'm pretty sure that exists everywhere. I don't think that's that crazy. Like, as long as the checks and balances are not there fully, people are going to take advantage of the system.
Yeah, it's always like that. So, actually... kind of lingering on this topic, there's this game called Mafia. Do you know the game?
Of course.
There's 2 imposters, 6 or...
Ultimate Werewolf or whatever else you want to call it.
Yeah, and there's, like, most of the time, the informed kind of bad actors beat the uninformed good actors.
Well, it's actually, if you play it, if you have, like, the right setup, it's usually around 50-50. But that was the point of the game, was to prove that, right? And, well, it wasn't proven, let's put it that way. But it is very interesting. It is very interesting how, people who are uninformed, they can see ghosts anywhere, right? They can see monsters under any bed or in any closet. even if there is none.
Yeah, it's either that or they sort of like are sort of gullible and they trust what they've been told and they trust empty promises or stuff like that, and they don't do their own research. And
I mean, it's tough to do all of that, right? It's not easy to do your own research. Like, where do you do your own research? If you do your research on CNN or whatever, I mean, you're gonna get the same result, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think it's important to be an individual thinker, not a group thinker, because I think I believe a lot of people just look at it like, oh, everyone's saying it, so it must be the case, right? Or oh, I don't want to like deal with that too much, and a lot of people just don't care. That's the other thing. A lot of people just have had enough of all of this nonsense. They're like, oh, whatever, right? And that's all good, obviously.
Yeah. There's a cycle that is like strong men build easy.
Are you talking about the fourth turning?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
It's true.
Yeah, to some extent, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, strong men build or cause good times, or strong men make good times make weak men make bad times make strong men. That's the thing. Yeah. Yeah, that's been a very old theory. I mean, it is loosely true. It doesn't exactly, like if you look at all sorts of historical events, it doesn't exactly lay out that way. But yeah, loosely it is kind of true. There is some truth behind it that when you're in your comfort zone, or simply put, comfort is the enemy of progress, right? Like if you're in your comfort zone, you're less likely to be aspiring to do a lot more. Whereas if your back's against the wall, you're like, need to do something here, otherwise I'm cooked, right? So it's very important for there to be a little bit of pressure, a little bit of a room for ambition. And yeah, I mean, it is possible that we are in that fourth turning right now. It is possible that we're just like, yeah, whatever, we're comfortable enough, whatever. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we're not. Hopefully we can avoid this.
Yeah, no, I feel like we're in the bad times. Milk makes strong men.
Well, that was after World War II, right? So bad times was World War II, but according to that book that you're referencing. And then after that was the post-war period. It was the good times, whatever. And then that made a lot of, not necessarily competent people. And then that's like caused into what we have right now, right? So loosely, sure. But it doesn't exactly pertain that way. I mean, there was a lot of ups and downs in the middle, right? There was the Cold War situation. There were a lot of nonsense presidents in there too, but then a lot of good, competent presidents as well.
Yeah, loosely, sort of.
Kinda. Who do you think killed JFK? The reason I'm bringing this up is because, well, they're releasing the files, right? Very soon.
When are they doing that?
So they've started the process. And what they're doing is they're going through every single one of those files to make sure there is no sensitive information, and then they release it afterwards. So it's going to take anywhere between a couple months to maybe like a year or two.
What's your theory?
My theory is that anyone who thinks this is a cutout situation, where this was only just one shooter and that's it, who was just motivated by personal thing,
no,
is anyone who thinks that, I'll put it this way. There's a bridge in Brooklyn I want to sell you. If that's what you truly believe, and that's fine. I mean, that might be the truth, right? But I think at the very least you should be skeptical, right? I think that's fair. I me myself, I don't necessarily think there was a conspiracy or anything, but I am very skeptical. I'm very skeptical of the official events, of Warren Commission's findings. It's really odd. I mean, that whole single bullet theory, I don't know how familiar you are with that one.
No. I'm not too deep in it, actually.
So there were 3 bullets fired by Oswald, but if we believe it was Oswald, on the 6th floor of the book depository towards the president. 2 of those bullets are fully accounted for. One of them hit like the road or something, whatever. It didn't even hit anything in the car. And the other one also hit Kennedy in the head at the very end, right? The other bullet is the one that apparently caused 7 different wounds. What 7 are we talking about? So there's a bullet that goes into JFK's back, his throat from the back, comes out from the front, and then they're saying it also goes into the back of Connolly, who was the governor of Texas at the time, who was sitting in the front seat, and then comes out from that, goes into his right wrist, comes out of that, goes into his left. There's no... All right, so, and then here's the craziest part is that they've taken out the bullet, and the bullet is almost in pristine condition. It's almost as if it's not hit anything. So it's a really weird one. It's a really weird one. And there's a lot of other oddities that are going on, right? So that single bullet theory, some people call it magic bullet theory, is one. Another oddity is there's this person, if you look at the footage, who's standing there with an umbrella. Even though it was like super warm, sunny, normal day in Dallas, it's a really odd one. There's a lot of discrepancy between where the shots came from. So a lot of people heard the shots coming from the building, whereas a lot of others heard the shot coming from the other side of the road. But everyone almost agrees that there was only 2 or 3 shots. And if there is not even an agreement on how many shots there were. A lot of people heard 2 shots, a lot of people heard 3 shots. But no one heard 4 shots. So that's the weird part. So if it wasn't just a single gunman, how would there only be 3? And we all already know that he probably already shot 3. Unless they shot at the same time or something. I don't know. There's a lot of weird things about this. And then the way they did the autopsy is really weird. They take JFK to a hospital nearby. And the coroner right there is like, oh, this is a state crime. I have to do the autopsy. They're like, no, this is a federal. This is the president. We're taking him. Like, we're going to do this in D.C. And the guy's like, no. And then there's a lot of discrepancy about, like, was this autopsy done correctly? There's a lot of weird things. Apparently, they take out the brain later. When they do the autopsy, one of the things that you should always do in an autopsy is that you take all the organs out and you weigh them. And that gives you a lot of information about, like, was there any like poisoning or whatever, or which organs were hit or whatever else. That wasn't done for some reason. A lot of weird stuff. And then, of course, Oswald himself, what was his motive? No one knows. He himself gets shot 2 days later by some other guy who had terminal cancer, who dies a couple of years later. Really odd. And apparently the CIA was keeping tabs on Oswald. So Lee Harvey Oswald, the person they say shot, we believe shot JFK. Maybe he did, maybe he did not. They were keeping tabs on him because he was basically a communist. He was a defector to the Soviet Union. And for a couple months before the shooting, he was in Mexico, which at the time was known as the center of spies. Like all the Soviet spies, all the Cuban spies, all the American spies were often there or trying to get information or whatever. So it's really odd. Like, what was he doing there? Was he doing something for the Soviet Union? God knows. Then he comes back. Why did he do what he did? And then after they catch him, he denies that he did it. So, I mean, is it possible? It's possible he did it and denies it, but it's all possible he did it for fame, at least. Like, if he just wanted to say, yeah, I killed the president, he would have just said that, right? But no, he denied it. And when they interrogated him, no one recorded it. No one. I know, it's crazy. I'm telling you, there's so many odd things about this case. And is it possible that it was just this one guy and just everyone just messed up? It's possible, sure. But you have to at least be skeptical.
It's highly, highly improbable.
And so the lady who's working on the releasing documents right now, just a couple of days ago, she came out and said that she believes there were 2 shooters based on what she's seen of the files so far. So already, if we get a confirmation from the files that are being released that at least the CIA or FBI or whoever believed there was a second shooter, and we know they at one point they did believe that. In the 70s, I believe, we do know that this was files that were released a couple years ago. They believed that there was actually a second shooter, even though the Warren Commission didn't find that to be the case. But if we find that they still believe that there was a second shooter, or maybe they have some evidence about it that they still haven't released, I mean, that would just blow this whole case wide open, right? Because if this was a second shooter, who was that?
Yeah.
And what does that mean? There was a conspiracy? From who? Was it from the Soviet Union? Was it from Cuba? Was it because, I don't know, someone inside the U.S. wanted to get rid of JFK? Like, it's so odd. I'm telling you. So looking forward to those documents being released very soon. I'm actually going to Dallas in a couple months, so I'm going to go see the location where this all happened.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe make a video of it. I don't know. It depends on what files get released, if they're interesting enough. But
Bro, I feel like you're video ready for this.
but I'm ready for anything. Bring it on.
What's your next video about?
So the video that I'm putting out later today, so by the time you guys see this, it'll have been out for a while. It's about the tariffs between Canada and U.S. I actually made a video initially that was supposed to go out on February 4th when the tariffs were supposed to go live, but then they ended up having an agreement to pause the tariffs for 30 days. So I was like, god damn it, I can't put it out now. So I reworked that video. I changed some of the stuff. I added some new elements that have happened since then. Like Trump put some tariffs on steel and aluminum. And this is for any country that basically brings in steel and aluminum into the U.S.
Wait, they're going on live today?
No, that happened. What, the video you mean, or the tariffs?
The tariffs itself.
Tariffs happened on February 10th.
So they're already live.
Yeah, so for about... they're not already live. He signed it on February 10th, but they're going live, I believe, in March.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's from what I remember. But so he's imposing the 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum. And also, he came out a couple days later, and he said that we're also going to be reciprocating any tariffs towards the United States. So, for example, if you put a tariff on us, on our exports, we're going to put the same tariff on you. Now, why this is significant is because, yeah, exactly. Canada, their whole strategy was that, hey, if you tariff us, we're going to tariff you right back. But what Trump has done now is that he said, oh, if you tariff me right back, I will tariff you right back, right? Right away, coming back at you. So if I do 25%, you do 25%, I'll make it 50%. And if you make it 50%, I'll make it 75%. I'll just keep going and matching you until you decide you want to give up, right? And that could very easily escalate into a very, very bad situation. So we'll see how that goes.
Bro, that's bad.
Oh, I mean, it makes sense from his point of view because he's saying, get out of here. Like, I'm the bully, not you.
Yeah.
And I'll prove it to you, right? But
the thing is, realistically, if stuff goes south,
yeah,
who are our allies? Our biggest ally is the United States, which is our bully. Who else would come to defend us?
No one.
No, exactly. We have no...
I mean, no one currently.
Close.
Right? So, for example, if it really breaks up between Canada and the United States, Russia or China might see an opportunity, right? So they might see, oh, wait, Canada's up for grabs. Hey, Canada, you want to get with us boys, with them boys, whatever? And then something could happen there. But can you imagine? That would crazy,
That'd be
man.
bad.
That would be insane.
That would be World War III, like 100% would happen.
But that's the thing. I think the reason why Trump is not worried about that is because he knows the people of Canada would never be down for that. For like Russia or China to be our ally. At least not in their current form. So I think that's what he's banking on. So he's like, you have nowhere to turn to. Even if they come sensing, like, seeing an opportunity, your own people will not stand for that. Right? So,
you know what, I'm excited for the election that's happening in Canada. So we get rid of the current leadership. Bring up here because it's been bad for the past 9 years.
It's been horrible. But
that.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Who knows? Maybe we don't even have an election because we become the 51st state by then. Who knows? We gotta wait and see. I mean, this man's serious. This man is not like screwing around. Like, he's done so many interviews where he said, yes, I'm serious about this. Like, I'm not, like, I think they should be our 51st state. He's really after it. Now, I understand that from a Canadian point of view, like, all the politicians say, no, never, we'll never do. But I mean, everyone has a breaking point, no? Like, at some point, if things get bad enough, are you still going to stay and say, no, never, right? I don't know.
I don't know, bro.
My man is not comfortable, huh?
Life's going to be weird. Yeah, life's going to be weird. The avenue that we're going towards is just unknown. I don't know.
How would you feel if we become part of the United States?
Personally?
Yeah.
Personally, I wouldn't like it because I'm not with the whole gun thing, obviously.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
And,
we have a lot of guns in Canada too, right? Like, we're among the top 4 or 5 countries as far as how many guns we have.
Really?
Yeah, like a lot of provinces. There's a lot of like hunting guns and stuff like that are roaming out among the citizens. There are very strict laws as far as, like, you have to lock him up and everything. But Canada's actually right up there. Like, it's not as bad as the U.S., but it's not that far behind.
No, I get it. Hunting is fine and stuff because you have moose and bears and whatever. But
the gun is still out there.
Right, but if imagine you, I don't know, like the violence that U.S. has, truly, like it's not safe there. We have safe neighborhoods here, truly. And if it gets for 51st state, the U.S.
Do we still? We used to a couple of years ago.
Dude, I believe we do. Where do you live?
I live in near Lonsdale.
Yeah, exactly. North, man. We've never had anything like stolen anywhere. Have you had
One of my
any?
high school friends got knifed about like a year or two ago, like in the library, Lynn Valley Library.
What?
Yeah, yeah, she got knifed like really bad, like in the face a couple of times or whatever. There was this lunatic that was like knifing people, killed one other person and like injured two, I think. And there was like an arsonist a couple years ago. I don't know. It's getting worse, man. It's not as good as it used. There was that guy who got knifed in the Starbucks downtown. Do you remember that one?
No.
The guy got like over like a stupid argument, and then he just like fell down and died. It's getting weird.
I mean, it's getting weird. I know, but
Yeah,
with us being a state of the United States, it'll get weirder, much
maybe,
faster.
maybe. I mean, the people don't change, right? The people are the same.
The people don't change for the most part, but there'll definitely be a group of people from the United States that see this opportunity and they're like, hey, fresh blood or fresh whatever, fresh territory. Let's go see what's going on there.
But they could come to Canada anyways.
They could, but it's not as easy as another state for them, you know?
Maybe.
I don't know. If that happens, bro, I may just move to southern Italy. It's nice,
Southern Italy,
nice
that's a nice
beaches
place.
there, good food. It's a blue
That
zone.
bad, huh? You just want to get away from the U.S.
It's not that bad, but
Okay.
yeah. We'll see how it turns out.
All right. I don't think it's gonna impact us much, to be honest.
That's what you think?
I mean, the healthcare thing could be an issue for some people. But other than that, I mean, in most other ways, we already are a 51st state of America. We just don't know it. That's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. Like, if there's a war, U.S. needs more troops. We're like, yes, sir. U.S. needs energy at a discounted price. Yes, sir. Like, we already are a 51st state.
No, I know we're there.
Yeah, we're pretty close.
Keyword.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like yeah, maybe, but I'm still going to Italy, bro.
Fair.
See you there.
I mean, it is a nice place. I'm not gonna blame you too much.
Yeah. What's the biggest thing you do for fun?
For fun, I love movies, so I suppose that's what I do for fun a lot.
What's your favorite movie?
But I also love traveling. I travel a lot, especially in the U.S. I think last year I went to like 7 or 8 different places. Yeah, so let's count them actually. So last year I went to Vegas. I went to D.C., Philadelphia, New York, Miami. Where else did I go? San Francisco. Any else that I'm forgetting? There might have been 1 or 2 other ones. Oh, Seattle, of course. Seattle I've been to a couple times. Yeah, just the past year.
You're the state's man.
Yeah, I mean, it's right next door, right? And it's much closer than anything in Canada. Like, if I want to go to Toronto, I have to go all the way there, right? And if I'm going all the way there, I might as well just go to New York, right? It's cooler than Toronto. You know what I mean? But nearby, yeah, there's not that much for us poor Canadians. I mean, I guess there's like Vancouver Island, and then there's
Whistler.
yeah, Whistler or something. I'd go there sometimes too. But yeah, I just love exploring different parts of the U.S. I think it's such a varied country. Like, you would think that, oh, the entire U.S. kind of looks the same, but it actually doesn't. It's very different from part to part.
Yeah, I mean, I was speaking to someone from Arizona yesterday,
Yeah.
and it was like, yeah, there's a desert, basically.
Yeah.
They have, like, tumbleweeds. Like, what? There's no way.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I've only been to Seattle, like, on a one-day trip.
Seattle's very similar to Vancouver.
Yeah.
It's actually, yeah, it's you feel right at home.
Yeah, so maybe I have a skewed opinion about United States. I'd probably have to visit there for like weeks on end to really get a grasp of what it's really.
Yeah. Do you like the more chill places, like no crime and whatever, or
Yeah, I like safe places. That's what I like.
if you like a chill place, Miami's the best.
Bro, Miami? Apparently it's like a party spot and
Very, very nice. Yeah. Party spot, very
like,
chill.
drugs and
No, not really. It's actually very, very safe. It's surprisingly, yeah. So it used to be a lot worse, Florida, but recently it's become very safe. And when I was there, it looked lovely.
Wow.
Yeah, it looked really good. And I like DC a lot. DC was amazing. Like, I love history and stuff like that. So just going. The best thing about DC is that wherever you go, you end up finding something crazy to do or look at or whatever. Like, you go one block, oh, there's the FBI headquarters. You go another block, oh, that's where they shot Lincoln. You go another block. Oh, there's a museum of architecture or whatever, museum of American history, whatever. You go another block. Oh, World War One memoriam. That's cool. It's amazing. It's endless. It's so cool, and you can just wander and explore things.
What's your favorite? So DC is your favorite state?
It's not a state. It's a
Sort of
territory.
like, but like if you would.
It's a district actually. District of Columbia is DC.
Right. But if you would like choose a state per se.
My favorite state I've been to. That's tough. That's really tough because there are good things and bad things about each state. Like I'd say, California, the nature is amazing, but the people, I don't know about that. The people are a little crazy there.
Well, they're liberal.
It's not just that. There's just a lot of crime, a lot of
Oh yeah.
yeah, dude. The homelessness situation is crazy. Like in
That's
San
another
Francisco,
thing.
San Francisco and LA, it's insane.
But actually, I mean,
Some places.
Vancouver is getting to that too. It's very bad in Vancouver.
Yeah, in Vancouver, it's a little bit less like everywhere. It's more like in one street.
Right, but over
But-
there,
Yeah, in San Francisco, it was like a whole district. It's like that's a don't go zone basically because it's so bad. It got a little bit better this last time I went there because they cleaned it up because Xi Jinping was visiting. So they were like, "Oh, let's clean up the house a little bit." And I was like, "If you guys can do this, then just do it at all times. Like it looks so much better." Like, well, where was this last time I was here?
the thing is, like, I heard a crazy stat that with like only $25 billion they could end homelessness.
I'm sure they could.
And yeah, and then there was like Doge that came up with this report that like I think 95% of taxpayer money that goes to healthcare went to shareholders, and it was like worth $2.7 trillion.
Damn, that's crazy.
95% of taxpayer money went to shareholders, and it was $2.7 trillion. That's why, bro. If you make a video on Doge, like you could, it'd be
I gotta
crazy.
get a deep dive into that before I can make a
100%.
video. I gotta really see what's going on because I feel like there's like it's probably a bottomless pit of all the nonsense that's going on in there. And also, you know what? I don't want to get like you saw that guy who the Luigi whatever, that Luigi guy who killed the healthcare guy in the streets. No, you don't know what that's about? There was this healthcare CEO who was just walking like from his hotel like somewhere else in Manhattan, and then this random guy just walks by him and like shoots him in the head, and then just walks away.
Why though?
I mean,
There's probably something behind it.
probably like maybe he had like some healthcare issues or whatever.
Oh.
Wanted to like fight the power. I don't know. He's under arrest right now, and his trial is coming up. You didn't see this coming at all. No, you didn't see like this happening all over social media. Like they were all making Luigi memes or whatever, like Mario's brother Luigi or whatever. No, you didn't see anything.
Bro, I'm not really like
You're not in the.
scrolling that much.
Oh yeah, fair. But yeah, that was everywhere for a little while. But yeah, I don't want that to happen to me. You know, I don't want to piss off the wrong guy, and then they show up to my head. Right, I don't want that.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
so I gotta be careful if I cover that stuff.
That's true. Yeah, the whole politics stuff is
You gotta be, you
have to be
You're playing a dangerous game, 100%.
yeah.
You can get canceled any minute. You can get the wrong people angry at you for no reason. So you gotta be very careful.
Yeah. But then that's what I believe that's what Elon Musk is sort of fighting.
Maybe, I guess. I mean, Elon Musk is positioned particularly well because he has all the money in the world to hire all the security in the world. So he's probably fine. He doesn't care if others get angry at him.
Yeah.
Um,
Like for example, Groke.
Yeah.
Bro, Groke can like give you a poem that is like you have to blur it everywhere. it's bad.
yeah, he doesn't care about that, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he's because to be fair, like it's not. First of all, it's not a public offering. It's a very private company. He's already raised the money. He doesn't have an issue. And again, he can raise the money no problem because he's Elon Musk, right? Even if he has nonsense and baggage attached to it, people are still like, well, it's still Elon Musk. Fine. I'll probably make money on this deal. So fine, I'll just invest, right? Whereas a lot of other, like Google can't afford that, for example. Google, if they do the wrong thing or if they say the wrong thing, all of a sudden all these shareholders are like, how dare you? Whatever, right? So
Yeah.
it's a tough business.
Well, yeah, they fired their CEO like a while ago.
Who, Google?
Yeah, the Indian guy.
Did they?
I believe.
I thought he's still there. No,
Oh, is he still there?
I might be wrong. I don't know. I don't follow Google that often, but from what I know, I thought he was still there, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. Maybe I thought they were like behind in the AI race, and he was promising some AI stuff like early on, like about like a year.
Maybe. I follow
I'll
up with
fact check
people's.
that. If,
Do that, please.
yeah. All right. What's your first piece of advice for people trying to make great content?
Where do we begin?
Yeah, your bread and butter.
For content, are you talking about YouTube or just content in general?
Let's say content in general, and then let's specialize it to YouTube after.
Sure. So in general, I'd say the first thing you need to do is make good content. I know it sounds simple, but it's very important actually, because you could end up in this rabbit hole of, oh, I need to have a better thumbnail, I have to have a better title, I have to have a this, I have a that, whatever, have a zing, a zang, a boom. But if your content at the end of the day isn't great and people watching it don't say, wow, I really like that, I want to watch more videos from this guy, then none of that really matters. So that's the most important thing, right? And the other thing that everyone needs to know is that your content is not going to be good when you start. And that's fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. Mine was not good when I started. I mean, sometimes when I look at my old videos, I just laugh. I'm like, it's hilarious how bad I was at doing this or that, the other thing. But that's very natural, right? Like the first time you were riding a bike, you didn't like do an amazing or cartwheels or whatever. You had a tough time. You maybe fell down. First time you were walking as a kid, I'm pretty sure you fell down a couple of times. It's very natural. You're learning something new that you've never done before, right? So don't get discouraged by it, but just be aware that your content is still not good. It needs to get a lot better, and just try to improve. Try to learn new things. Be curious. Yeah, after just learning more in terms of how you can improve your content, and also all the other stuff that you can do, like the click-through rates or the thumbnail or the whatever, the retention, all that stuff.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's a long game and process, and I think reflection is very important to see. Like, wow,
yeah, for sure.
This video didn't get that many views. Why? Maybe.
Also, this is something that Mr. Beast talks about a lot. Is that when you're first starting out, the best way you can improve is just for every video you put out, ask all your friends to roast it as hard as they can. Right? Like say, okay, if you saw this video from a guy you didn't know, right? Imagine this is not me. You just saw this video. What would you say? Like, what would you say? Huh, look at how this guy's doing this. That sucks, all right? Like, roast it as much as you can, right? Because that gives you some sort of an idea of what you can improve on, or what people are looking for, right? Like, if there's something that you're doing wrong, then okay, maybe I need to change how I'm doing that. Or if there's something that you're not doing, now okay, maybe I should look at either learning how to do that or implementing that, making sure I'm mindful that I'm doing this while I'm making my content. So that's a really good way to do it as well. I mean, it's gonna be a little tough depending on how thick your skin is. I'd be like, guys, don't roast my content, right? But it's actually very good. It's very beneficial if you have others who are not invested into it. Now, sometimes it's tough for yourself, right? Because you're so in it, right? If someone who has an outside perspective looks at it and says, yeah, I don't like how you did this or did that, and you kind of maybe like aggregate a couple of different people's points of views, you usually find some similarities or some things where they all agreed upon, or maybe they said similar things about some parts of the video. And then you just know that, okay, maybe that's something I could do a little bit better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mr. Beast, the GOAT of YouTube.
The GOAT. Yeah.
And now he's actually diverging his avenues to Amazon and stuff like that. He got 50 million views in the first 25 days, something like that.
On Amazon?
Yeah,
that's show. That's a lot. I mean, that's not a lot for his YouTube videos, but I guess I don't know how Amazon's viewership is usually, but I imagine he gets that in like a couple hours on YouTube when he puts out a new video.
Yeah. There's some country. Well, what is it? Doc Pack.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was crazy.
Yeah. So I actually don't subscribe to Mr. Beast anymore because I watched that. I was like, I don't know about this guy.
No, yeah, he said a bunch of out stuff. Yeah. Like Doc Pack, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's a
weird one.
That whole thing. Yeah,
it is a weird one. Yeah. But you can still learn from him, right? So I don't know how I feel about the guy himself or his content, but he still did a lot of things right to get where he is, and I think it's important to learn from how you can improve your content as well, right? As long as you don't do some of that other nonsense he was maybe doing at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is a good lesson. Even if you don't like them, you can still learn something from them.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage if you don't do that, right? If you're just saying, oh, I don't like this guy, so I'm not going to learn, right? Well, someone else is going to learn and they're going to do better than you. Like, it's simple as that, right? So just don't be too judgmental, right? Like, you cannot like someone or think they're a bad person or whatever you think. But you can also still understand there's something they're doing right or something they're doing that's good or that's effective or whatever you want to call it. And then just take those elements and leave the rest be. Oh.
How do you think the U.S. election now will impact your business / life?
I mean, it does depend on, do we become a 51st state? Do the tariffs happen and the Canadian dollar goes like plummets like what crazy? I don't know.
What's your vision about? I feel like if we don't come to an agreement, the Canadian dollar will plummet to like a 3-1. That's my thing.
Yeah, 3-1 will be rough, man. I don't know if it's going. Maybe it will. I don't know.
Yeah, it's bad.
At least not immediately. Maybe eventually. Immediately, I think it'll probably go to like. I don't even want to think about it, to be honest. It's just that's so bad.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't happen, but yeah, it's very possible that the dollar plummets. It's gonna be a rough one, and if we don't start like making deals with like the European Union and stuff like that, we might also just have trouble, selling stuff. Like how are you gonna export? Who are you gonna export to? If you can't do it to Americans, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough, and at some point, it might just be better off to become a 51st state. I don't know. At some point, you might have to consider it, and maybe that will happen. I don't know. Who knows? Do you think it's gonna happen? Like, do you think it's possible?
I think the possibility is there, and I think Trump is doing this early because we don't have strong leadership. So
that might be part of it.
Yeah. So he's seeing a gap and he's taking advantage potentially. I don't know. I don't want to think.
So much for that question, I guess. It's too up in the air to talk about right now. Like, if this wasn't happening right now, I'd probably say, yeah, maybe this happens. Maybe Pierre comes. We do this. It's going to be nice, whatever. But yeah, it's too up in the air right now.
It is.
We got to wait a little bit, see how this plays out.
Yeah, because I think Trump is doing the same to Mexico.
Yeah, not to the same degree, though. He's not like saying, oh, Mexico should be our 52nd state or state.
Oh, right? Yeah.
So it's a little bit different with Canada. It seems like their agenda is very clear. And Canada seems to very clearly not be interested. So that's, when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, it's usually not a great outcome. And we got to wait to see how that plays out, I guess.
What's your intuition about life in the next 5 years?
It's got to be crazy. We could very well have AGI in the next 5 years. And then after that, all bets are off. Because, I mean, can you imagine all the jobs that can get automated if you have an artificial general intelligence going about? I mean, you're doing it right now with telecommunications. Think about all the other stuff. I mean, coders. Imagine you don't need coders anymore. Imagine you don't need doctors anymore. Imagine you don't need anything. And like taxi drivers, whatever. What happens?
Well, AI right now can... There was a post I saw which was like AI can tell from looking at your eye if you're a male or a female. And doctors don't know how AI is doing this.
Well, I mean... That's the whole point, right? Is that it's seeing patterns that you're not able to see. I mean, the same way it beats you at chess or something, right? It's that it's able to see patterns through their neuron firings that you just can't see, because it's something beyond something we can even comprehend, right? Because a lot of people don't understand how AI works. They imagine, it must be reasoning this out or whatever, or thinking, 2 + 2 = 4, therefore this is this. But it's not like that. It's like it's been shown a pattern. It's a pattern recognizing machine. That's what the human brain is as well. It's a pattern recognizing machine. You see, for example, you see my face, and based on the pattern of where my eye is, where my everything is, right? You realize, it's Shervin, right? Now you're not doing it consciously. You're not sitting there saying, let me analyze this. Where's his eye? Where's his mouth? Where's this? It must be that guy, right? No, you just do it subconsciously. But that is how your subconscious works. It sees the patterns and just says, Shervin. And it's the same thing. Like when it when you show it something that it's been trained on, it is just recognizing the patterns based on all those millions or billions of examples it's seen before. And at that scale, you can pick up on patterns that we can't even comprehend, right? So that's probably how it's doing it. But yeah, that's only the tip of the iceberg. I mean, imagine all the implications you could easily have. In a couple of years, I can definitely see this happening, where you can maybe translate what your dog is telling you.
Oh, 100%.
Based on in a couple of years after that, God knows, maybe we can even read human thought. Can you imagine if that happens? That'd be crazy. In fact, there's a lot of people working on an AI that can tell whether you're lying or not. And if you have that, let's say at a reliable scale, like it's 99.999% accurate, that would be crazy. Can you imagine? Like, first of all, the justice system would look so different because you don't need evidence anymore, right? You just say, "Did you do it?" "Yes." "You lying." You get it, right? It's like it'll be insane.
No, Elon Musk was talking about this, saying that in the foreseeable future, AIs and robots will be basically doing everything. And then, what is the purpose of money? Because money right now...
What's the purpose of humans? Let's start with that.
Yeah, the existential crisis question.
No, like, and I don't want to be too doom and gloom here, but if you have an AI that is that much smarter than you and that much better than you, they're gonna take care of everything, right? Because you're like an ant trying to walk as the great genius AI is doing its thing, right? So why wouldn't it treat you the same way we treat ants that we see? We're like, get out of here, or whatever. You just step on it, whatever.
No, it definitely could. I think OpenAI said that, 15% of the time they were training their new model. And I was saying 15% of the time we were trying to shut it off. It was trying to copy itself.
Damn.
So it doesn't get shut off.
That's not good.
Not good at all.
That's not good at all. And honestly, like, it's so hard. The thing about it is the alignment problem, right? You know what the alignment problem is, I'd imagine. So the alignment problem is when you train a model, right? And you train it for a specific thing, how do you know if it's aligned to achieve exactly what you've envisioned? Like this is this is the famous example, is the paper clips. Imagine you make an AI, right? And then you tell the AI, you know what? I have a paperclip company. I want to make as many paper clips as possible for as cheap as possible, right? So the AI hears this and says, okay, and then starts making paper clips until the entire earth is covered with paper clips. And then it says, oh, I still need to make more paper clips for as cheap as possible. Makes the entire universe as paper clips. And it just keeps going and going after that, right? Because that was the directive, right? Now, in our minds, we hear that and we say, oh, we mean as far as making the paper clips and selling it and making money, right? And not to the scale where we're destroying all of humanity or all of the universe or whatever. But for an AI to understand both of those things, it's not as simple as you might think, right? Because they just get the directive, oh, just make paper clips for as much as possible for as cheap as possible. And we're like, boom, we go forever until everything is covered with paper clips. And that's the issue with the alignment problem, is that how do you align? Like, how many factors do you have to put in there to make sure it's completely aligned with exactly what you want? Like, you have to say, make me paper clips that are cheap as much as you can, but as long as you don't do it this much where it starts destroying society, but more than this amount because I want to beat out my competition, but also like make sure it's here or whatever. Like, how many directives do you have to put on there to make sure it's fully aligned with what you have in mind? It's very tough to
and this
assess
is a simple paperclip. Like, we were talking about
exactly
many things.
There's so many other, like, you've seen 2001: A Space Odyssey, right? The movie. So, spoiler for the movie.
Spoiler.
It's okay. We're not talking about it. But yeah, that's basically another movie where it shows the alignment problem with the AI model there.
Do you recommend it? I'm thinking of watching a movie tonight.
It's a long movie. If you have the patience for it, I would say.
No.
Okay, then.
I'm with the lady.
There it is. It's a very long and very methodical movie. It definitely takes its time. There are points where it goes on for 20 minutes where you're just listening to classical music while you're seeing the ship like travel in the air and people are like floating or whatever.
Whoa.
So if you don't have the patience for it, no, probably not. But if you like sit down and say, okay, let's do this, it's a very good movie.
Very good movie.
Yeah, especially for the time it was made. It was made in the 60s.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's like 10 years before Star Wars.
But it's called 2001.
Yeah, because the story takes place in 2001.
Oh, yeah. They're envisioning like flying cars, right?
No, they're actually not. They're just imagining like, oh, we have space travel to like Moon and Jupiter and whatever, which we definitely do, of course. We go to Jupiter every day. It's very interesting, yeah. But they maybe they also envision aliens or something. I mean, it's up to your interpretation. You can see the movie for yourself. But it's very interesting. It's very interesting, and there are 4 novels by this guy. His name is Arthur C. Clarke.
Oh yeah.
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 He wrote these books. So it's 2001 is the first one. That's 2010, and then 2 more after that.
Wow, I've heard Arthur C. Clarke a
Yeah.
lot.
You know the guy?
Well, he has this quote that actually is my thing in the Discord. It's like the description, which is like, any future civilization that is meaningfully more advanced will be indistinguishable from magic.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, which is one of my favorite quotes of all
Which
time.
makes perfect sense. Like if you take a cell phone, like if we take our iPhones right now, it's like some guy 30 years ago. Like his mind is gonna be blown. Can you imagine?
Well, did you see that video that in like, I think there was a sort of like just they were filming for news or something, and then he looked at it, looked like an iPhone, and he was like, oh, it's a mirror. He turned it around. It was, I'm gonna have the video up here, but that actually happened, I think, in like 70s.
Damn.
Yeah, I swear.
So you're saying time travel is possible?
Well, I don't know. Potentially. I don't know. There's analogies that if it was possible, then you could go back and obviously change when you were foreseeved.
Not if you go to a different timeline.
Yeah, there should be some limits and some like guidelines too, where you can go and where you can't. It's interesting.
We'll see.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the money thing, like eventually when AI and robots will do everything. I don't know what we'll do. I don't know.
Does that mean we have a techno state where the AI is the president and now we just do whatever the AI says? Why would the AI even care about us? Like, why would it even bother be our president? Because it has like better things to do, no?
Yeah, I mean, it would.
Like, we're not president of ants. Like, we don't say, hey, ants, get in line. What are you doing? Where are you going over there? We don't care. We're like, yeah, go wherever you want to go. Or if you annoy me too much, I might like...
Exactly.
If you don't annoy me too much, whatever. I don't care. You go do whatever you want to do, right? Like...
Yeah, it's this analogy that if there's an anthill and we want to just build a road, right? We want to build a road. Yeah, there's an anthill in the way. Like, we don't hate ants.
Yeah, nothing else, but we're just like, yeah.
You're in our way, yeah.
Yeah. And if it's not in the way, we just don't care about it. We're like, yeah, you're over there, whatever. Good for you. Yeah, we just do our thing. So I don't even know, to be honest. Like there's a lot of conjecture, obviously, but you know, some people predict. Do you know Ray Kurzweil by any chance? The guy who talks about singularity. So this guy's actually a very fascinating guy. I definitely recommend you reading up on him or maybe seeing some videos about him. So he probably has the best track record for predicting the future out of anyone, because like back in the 80s he predicted that by 1999 a computer will beat a human in chess, which happened in 1997, I think. Like in the early days of the internet, he predicted that the internet will become a thing that we can all access in our homes. And he also predicted, there will be search engines by this point, which is pretty much when Google came about. He was actually very right on a lot of things. He was like, by this time we will have computers that fit in our pocket, which is about where iPhone came out. Like, a lot of his predictions are actually scarily accurate. And some of the things he predicts for the future, he also predicted, by the way, that AGI would come in 2029 back in the 90s. And at the time...
No.
I know, bro. It's crazy. And at the time, everyone laughed at him like, you're crazy. That would take at least 100 years, more than that, whatever. But now in the past couple of years, a lot of people are coming to say, yeah, it's probably there or maybe even closer.
No
It's
way.
Crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, you got to look at this guy up. His name is Ray Kurzweil. He worked in Google for a little while, but he's also been an inventor his entire life. He's like 60, 70 years old right now. But he invented like the first keyboard that emulated the sound of a piano. He invented, I think, the first text to speech or something like that. So yeah, really cool guy. Yeah, he just put out a book a couple years ago about what his predictions are for the next like 20 years until 2045. Because 2045, according to him, is a singularity. that is the point where AGI will become 1,000,000 times smarter than the first moment it comes out. And by that point, he's saying that should be super intelligence by that point. So from that point, all bets are off.
What does he think? Like, I'm curious.
Well,
what he thinks.
it's crazy. It's crazy. So what he's predicting is that in 2032 we have longevity escape velocity, which means that by that point, like imagine this, like every year that goes by, our body's wearing out a little bit more, like it's getting a little bit older, or whatever. But if you're using about the year of longevity throughout a year, you're also getting a little bit of it back through like scientific advancements and medications and stuff like that. So right now, his estimate is that about every year that goes by, you get about 4 months back in terms of your longevity, right? So imagine if you were not getting anything back, after 50 years of living, you'd look like a 50-year-old. Whereas because you're getting a little bit back, maybe at 50 years, you're still not that bad, right? Like imagine your grandfather when he was 50, and then maybe you when you're 50, you're not as bad as that, right? Like you can still do more activities, whatever. You have more longevity. His prediction is that is accelerating, and by around 2032, we reach a point where for every year that goes by, you get an entire year back in your longevity. And then after that, it becomes, you get more back than you spent, right? So if a year goes by, you get more than a year of longevity back. So people might actually be able to not reverse their age, but reverse their longevity, where maybe at 80 years old, they look healthier than they did in 70, right? And then at that point, that means basically you never get old, which would be insane. Can you imagine that?
Oh my God, 2032, he said?
Yeah, so that's his prediction, like about so. And then there's a lot of other stuff. So
go ahead.
3D printing, a lot of stuff. So he used the analogy of books, right? So back in the day, like hundreds of years ago, books were very expensive. Not anyone could have books, right? Because for every single book, you had to not only just have the ideas and write it, whatever, you had to have paper, which was very, very expensive. You had to have ink, which was very expensive. And you had to handwrite the whole thing from beginning to end for every single book. So books were very expensive. What happens is that then about 200 years ago, the printing press comes in, right? Now it's a lot more economically
feasible,
sure, to print the same book a lot, like thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of copies of the same book, right? So all of a sudden it's a lot less expensive. And also paper is being produced in companies, so it's a lot cheaper. Same with ink, all that stuff. And then you go forward until like the mid 2000s, late 2000s, maybe 2010s, we have ebooks. Now ebooks, once you write that book, getting each book to an ebook reader costs virtually nothing, probably less than 1 cent, right? Because once you already, of course, have the infrastructure of the internet and all of that, now ebooks basically cost nothing. You just as soon as it's written, for you to have it like on an Amazon store and for me to go and buy it, it doesn't cost you or Amazon anything else after that, right? It's just pure profit. So for that reason, you can also afford to sell it for a lot cheaper. Like if you buy an ebook, it's a lot cheaper than buying a physical book, right? So it's becoming more and more.
Where are you going with this?
So here's where I'm going with this. So when you were talking about money, right, the issue of money and how are people going to have money to do their things like have food to eat, buy clothes, whatever, his solution to that is that eventually we're going to get to a point where the same thing happens to food and clothes, where instead of buying food or buying clothes or making it from scratch, we could hypothetically have a 3D printer that just makes whatever we want. The same way you just get your ebook whenever you want. All right. So once that food is programmed into the 3D printer or whatever, or maybe like very small amounts of, let's say, stuff that you need to put in so you can get the food that comes out, that's it. You don't need anything more. You don't need to like spend like, I don't know, $40 on a piece of steak or something. They can just 3D print it for pennies.
Oh my God. By when?
So this one, he was saying like late 2030s, early 2040s. But
what's the singularity point?
So the singularity is the point after which it's impossible to predict. Because, so do you know what singularity is in physics? So the singularity...
I forgot. I knew this, but I forgot.
That's okay. So in physics, the center of a black hole is called a singularity, right?
Oh yeah, nothing can escape it.
It's not just that. It's nothing can escape the black hole in general, but the center of the black hole is where all math and all physics fall apart because it doesn't make any sense, right? And we don't actually know what happens there. Because apparently in that point, there's infinite amount of gravity and there's like infinite amount of energy. What does that mean? God knows. Apparently time stops there. Apparently it's the end of time. Once you go past the event horizon of a black hole, time and space flip. So instead of you traveling to a location, you're traveling to the end of time. And when you reach the singularity, you're at the end of time. What does that even mean? God knows. Is that even correct? Might not even be correct. But our current models of what we understand the universe to be says that that's going to be what happens. So basically, a singularity is an analogy of something that we completely don't understand. We can't even start to imagine what that is because it just makes no sense from our current understanding of things. And it's the same with his predictions, is that after 2045, because we have super intelligence that's a million times smarter than a general intelligence, it's almost impossible to predict anything after that. Because I mean, God knows what the super intelligence is going to know a lot of things that we have no idea about. So God knows what it's going to be doing at that point, right? So
Wow.
For all we know, some conjecture that he's done is that like by the end of the century, we're going to be rearranging matter so that every piece of matter can become a smart matter. And what those things are called is computroniums in theoretical tech. So computronium is when, like, let's say you pick out a piece of rock. A piece of rock is just, it's arranged in a way where it sustains itself and it stays together, but it's not smart. There's no intelligence, right? It can't solve a physics problem. But if you can rearrange the matter in a way to emulate a computer, then you could have a computronium in that rock. So that rock itself could become an intelligent thing. And once you get to that point, the entire universe could become intelligence. And once you get what does that even mean? God knows what that means. That's the whole point of it, is that you can't even begin to imagine what that even looks like.
Oh my God. My mind is blown.
Exactly, buddy.
That's insane.
It is pretty cool.
I'm going to have to go on a tangent hole for like the next couple hours on that.
Definitely. It's very, very interesting stuff. I love trying to imagine. Like, you need stuff that gives you hope for the future. There's so much stuff going on, whether it's, politics or whatever, where people are all down on, what's going to happen in a couple of years, or, this guy is the bad guy, that guy's the bad guy, this is bad, that's bad. You need something to give you hope and give you something to aspire to in the future. And I think it's very important to look at that stuff.
Yeah, honestly, in the grand scheme of things, nothing matters. The universe will be billions and billions of years past after you die. It will have existed billions of years before you. It's so grand, we don't even know how big it is. There may be parallel universes. In the grand scheme of things, nothing really matters. You just spawned on this planet, and you just have to figure it out, and you'll die eventually.
Yeah, but you don't want to go too deep into that thought because you don't want to end up with nihilism or anything. But yeah, there's definitely some truth to that. But also the opposite is true, right? That from your perspective, this is all that matters. It doesn't matter if the universe goes on for billions of years. So what? Like, this is your part of it. This is what you get to experience. So there's a duality there for sure. But you wanna like kind of have both.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
It's a good way to put it.
Thank you.
What challenges you?
Donald Trump? I don't know. I don't know. It's tough. What challenges me, huh?
Yeah.
I guess I'm trying to understand what you mean by that question. Like, do you mean like, like it's a challenge that I have to overcome, or like something that like gives me reason to thought?
This question always gets everyone. Like, everyone has to think about it. It's sort of like, what is something challenging in your life that you haven't figured it out yet? It's like it's a challenge that you're.
Oh, YouTube for sure. Still trying to figure it out. How do you get to 1 million subscribers on YouTube?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it out. But yeah, I suppose just how to do even better than what I'm doing right now, right? So how I can get better, how I can learn more, how I can progress from here, and also it's very, very interesting to think about how the world is going to cope with the whole AI situation that we have going. It's definitely going to be very challenging for everyone involved to figure out how to come out of this without, I don't know, the whole population going out of work and having nothing to do, and God knows what they're gonna be up to. What we didn't really touch on this, by the way. What do you think is gonna happen when people start getting laid off because they're being replaced by AI?
Well, I think at the beginning there will be a universal basic income.
Do you think so?
I truly believe so. Because if there's not such case, then how would they survive if they don't have no
That's
income?
your question. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's possible. I don't know, but like, how would you have the universal? How would you do it? How would you do the universal basic income?
Distribute it.
No, where would you get the money from? First of all, do you print it?
I mean, they print it every day.
No, I know, but I'm just asking.
I think in the foreseeable future, money will become meaningless.
Obsolete?
Yeah,
Probably.
will become meaningless.
Because everything is just so cheap.
Everything's so cheap. Everything's done by robots and AI that humans are not involved at all, and they're so much greater and better that there's no meaning for money anymore. That's what I think.
So basically, we end up in a communist utopia. Is that what you think is gonna happen?
Utopia would be fantastic, but there's
Yeah.
always going to be sharks that take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And
So communism, basically.
I don't want to. Hopefully not. But
That's pretty much what it sounds like.
I mean,
Communist utopia alike, or communist utopia-esque, but turns out it's not so much a utopia because there's sharks that are taking advantage.
there will always be sharks. Yeah, if you have our guards down, there will always be people.
But will there be people who can take over what the AI is doing, or like take advantage of what the AI is doing?
100%. There will be people.
But how can you control something that's so much smarter than you? Why would it stay loyal to you?
Exactly. I don't. They're trying their best, I think. But Sam Altman, personally, I think Sam
Yeah.
Altman has money in front of him, and he doesn't truly care about the safety. And he's like, "Oh yeah, we're not even close."
To be fair, I don't think he can afford to. I think it's different that, it's different. If you have the opportunity to care, but you don't, then you can say, oh, he doesn't care. But I think, like, for example, Sam Altman, he can't afford to because, well, what's going to happen? If he, like, slows down, his company's going to die, and all the other companies are going to do the same thing anyways. Groke is going to do the same thing. DeepSeek is going to do the same thing. India is going to do the same thing. I don't know, whatever other countries working on it is going to do the same thing. Google's going to do the same thing.
Yeah, you know what it is that we have become so materialistic and so economy driven that we have to be like, even like what? I'd say if each of us had $25 million, our life wouldn't change after that. But it's just like, we want everybody else's money. We want so much money. We want as much money, as much power, but it shouldn't be that way. It should be like, I mean, yeah, that's fair, but like
What do you mean it shouldn't be that way?
The system is built around the way that, yeah, if he can't afford, I agree.
Yeah.
The system was built that way. But
Is the system built that way, or are humans built that way?
the humans have built the system that has, yeah, I think it's not just the system. It's obviously us created that.
No, but think about it this way, right? So you said if you have a $25 million, right? You still feel the same way. You want to like do more, you want to get more, you want to make more, you want to have more money than the other guy who has $25 million, right? Where does that come from, do you think? Do you think that comes from a system, or do you think that's just innate human nature?
That's innate human nature, definitely. Yeah.
So there's always, as humans, we're always trying to climb a hierarchy, right? We always want to prove we're better than the other guy. Like, we want to compete. We want to like out-compete the other guy. We want to get ahead. Because, I mean, you could argue that's partly because we've always had rarity, or because there hasn't always been abundance. So if there's like a limited amount of resources, we have to compete over that, right? Because we can't all have it. So only some of us can have it.
Yeah.
But if you remove that, would that go away? Probably not, right? Because like then you want to get even more of it, right? Like if there's, let's say, I don't know.
We're greedy.
All right. Like if you and let's say 99 other people you don't know in a room, and then there's 100 cheeseburgers in the middle, and they say, okay, this cheeseburger is the only food you get for the next 2 days. But you don't have to just have one. You can grab as many as you want before others do. All right. So you're all on your marks. You can run, grab as many cheeseburgers as you want. Are you just going to grab one?
No.
Probably not, right? Yeah, exactly. You don't care if others are hungry. Everyone out there on their own, right? So it's very tough. Like,
this is a good brainstorming session because
Yeah.
I'm coming to a realization that maybe in the human nature, the path that we're going, the path that we're wired is that we may just be self-destructive.
like everyone likes to talk the talk. Everyone likes to say that, oh yeah, of course, one is enough for me to survive for 2 days, and we can all have one, no problem. But then, is that what they're gonna do now?
No, but the cheeseburger thing is that, like, if you don't, I mean, you'll be hungry, you won't die. But like the 25.
But why should I be hungry? Let someone else be hungry. You know, I feel like everyone has that innate desire.
Yeah, it's
And
in our
A
nature.
lot of people don't want to admit that. A lot of people would say, I would never.
No, it's death.
And you know what's funny? They would be the first to grab as many as they can. They like to say that, oh yeah, I would never, but
You're
I don't know
definitely
if I
right.
might have.
You're definitely right. It's in our nature.
Mm.
There's no way around it. So then that's where it comes to self-destructiveness.
But you know, you say self-destructiveness, but maybe this was the whole point of humanity, right? Like sometimes we wonder, what's the point of life? Maybe this is the point of life, is that we give rise to intelligence.
Simulation. We give it.
Or maybe it's cyclical.
I mean, there will be a path that we can put our consciousness in the robots. I feel like there has to be a way, and then after that,
Or we can just wire the AI to our brains, right? So if we get,
merge the two.
so that's what Kurzweil thinks is going to happen. Is that his predictions are that we are going to become one and the same with the super intelligence, and the way he looks at it is that a lot of people think this AI is like an alien coming from Mars who's going to come here and kill us all, but this is us, right? The same way that our phone is an extension of us, or any of our electronic technology is an extension of us. AI would also be an extension of us, and very soon we're gonna be able to, like, through things like Neuralink and other stuff, we're gonna be able to have it wired directly into our brain, so it's a brain interface, right? So we can get all the information and all the computation we need. And similar to Apple, how it has it has a small neural engine on your phone, so it can do some very easy stuff when you're talking to Siri. But if it needs to do something very complicated and give you an answer that's very complicated, it sends it to ChatGPT, or it sends it out to the cloud, right, to get more compute. It could be something very similar where we are plugged into more compute. So if we need to think about a really challenging topic, we don't just use our own brain to think. We also use the cloud that we're also connected into.
I feel like the unique thing about humans is that we're all different with different backgrounds, and we have different people we've been around and different perspectives, and that's what makes us unique. But if we can tap into some sort of like a centralized hub of information that we have all access to, that uniqueness will be diluted and sort of fade away for the most part. So then how are we different than per se robots?
Will we even be among other humans at that point? Or will we all have our own simulated worlds to go wander around?
Yeah, I mean, video games will very soon be indistinguishable.
I mean, have you tried VR headsets? I mean, they're pretty good.
Pretty good, but still not indistinguishable. But very
not
close.
yet. Not yet. Yeah, it will be at some point.
Yeah.
Which one do you think is harder to do? Indistinguishable VR or AGI or super intelligence? Because I mean, if you have super intelligence, I'm sure super intelligence can solve that issue for you.
Yeah.
Right. So
we don't know. It's very lot of questions that it's cool to think about, but I don't know. The future excites me, but it also scares me as to how it will look like. And I think that's true for everyone because the unknown is scary.
Yeah, 100%. But what I'm trying to get across is that this is probably inevitable. It's gonna happen at some point or another.
Yeah.
So we might make it happen a little faster or a little slower, but maybe humans were always conduits for intelligence to rise in the universe and turn everything into computronium and cover the entire universe, so the universe can come alive.
You may be right. I have no counter.
Yeah, if someone ever asks you what is the meaning of life or what's the point of life, you can just say that.
I should have that question here.
Oh, there you go. So I already answered it.
No, actually.
What is the point of life? Okay, so point of life, to progress, to do better, to get better, probably, to put it very, very simply. It's to have goals and try to reach those goals and try to improve yourself to be able to hit those goals, and also hit goals on a regular enough basis where you're not discouraged. That is the point of life. And people do this even when they don't realize it. Like, if you're not doing this with your career, you will do it with other quote-unquote surrogate activities that help you still get that feeling. Like, yeah, you might not be doing that, but you might like play chess a lot and try to get better at chess. And you maybe set your goal, okay, I want to hit 1600 rating, right?
Do you play chess?
I do. I think we talked about this last time, actually.
I have a chessboard right there.
We should do it. How good what's your rating?
I'm 1500 blitz.
I'm 1500 blitz, 1500 rapid, 1600 bullet. We should play.
That's pretty good, dude.
That's it.
Okay, I think we should wrap it up, and then we'll have the last bit, like just our chess game.
Sure, sounds good.
But it was fantastic speaking to you.
Yeah, it was lovely. Thanks for having me on again.
No,
hopefully this time the channel doesn't blow up, and we can keep the content still there.
Yeah.
So what happened? Let's talk about this. What happened with the content? Or do you want to talk about it afterwards?
I've spoken about it. It's just that I had an SEO girl who was from Bangladesh. She was working with me, and we were on a 2-week trial.
Okay.
And then I told her explicitly, like, hey, don't bring any bot views, no external.
Yeah.
And then I look at my feed, and it's like 95% external views. I'm like, okay, I know what's going on.
Yeah.
So then I confronted her. She's like, no, I didn't, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, that's enough. But I don't want to argue with you. We're not doing this. Like,
You gave her access to your channel? Or
I gave her access. My biggest problem was that I didn't remove her access before talking to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I learned, obviously.
Yeah.
The hard way.
Of course.
And she's like, no. And I was like, okay, we're not going to work each other. And I turned and I was like, okay, I'll just remove the access tonight because I was out or whatever.
Yeah.
Like 10 minutes later, my buddy just called me. I'm like, what's going on? Like, bro, your channel's access pouring on your channel. I'm like, oh no. My God. I deleted. I was like, oh shoot. I removed the access right away. I was like, okay. And then 3 hours later, channel's down.
Damn.
My shorts guy's like, bro, your channel's down. I'm like, oh shoot. We were talking with YouTube for like weeks.
And they said, we don't care?
They were like, yeah, it's a third-party conflict. We don't deal with it. And you have to go to law authority. And I was like, she's in Bangladesh. What do we want to do?
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, they didn't budge. And I actually saw in the terms that if I open a new channel and brand it the same way, it's going to get, like, messed up again.
No way. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I had to rebrand. So initially it was the Sadra podcast.
Yeah.
And now it's the Think Forward podcast.
Nice.
Yeah.
So any other Sadra guy who ever wants to start a podcast will not be able to because of you. Any other guy named Sadra, I'm sorry.
Sorry for you. But actually in Spotify and Apple Podcasts is still the Sadra podcast.
Oh, okay. That's not confusing at all.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone will be able to find out this is the same podcast as that one.
Eventually when I get to 88 episodes, like there's the same amount of, then I'll change the brand.
Okay, sounds good.
Because I like the Sadra podcast.
Yeah, it's a nice name. Yeah. You can do, what's your last name? You can do that.
The Corbash podcast?
Yeah, that's tough. Never mind.
No.
Never mind. The Sad Man podcast. Very good.
I'm not. Whoa.
Oh, Sadra, meaning like the first three.
Oh,
it's a play on words.
Yeah, I see you. You're cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so that's what happened. And you learned some lessons the hard way, the easy.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but the worst part was that like I put 18 months of work into that channel.
Yeah.
And
how'd that feel when that happened?
But I was seeing nightmares. It was bad.
Yeah, I imagine.
Almost tears came out of my. It was bad. But
Damn.
The thing is, failures happen, and
yeah. So this was what we were talking about earlier, right? Remember I was talking about with my.
I think you had it in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My video, like, I put this much work in it, but it got 20 views. Same thing that happened with your channel, right? Like, it's something you've put so much work into, and you believe in so much, and then so unfairly it's taken away from you.
Yeah, just like that.
You just got to get up and move on. There's nothing else you can do, really. You learn the lesson. Now you know, like, who to trust, who not to trust, who to give what kind of access. and we go again.
The most important thing is, just keep going. Never give up
100%.
until you succeed.
Well, hopefully this doesn't happen again, and your channel blows up. 1,000,000 subs.
1,000,000 subs, brother. It was amazing. So now we shall play the chess. We'll see you guys there.
All right. Good luck, sir.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I was trying you.
Yeah.
Interesting. Nice. He was cooking. Mm-hmm. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know what's going on. You know this line.
Played similar things. Hello.
You know this line, don't you? Okay. You about to sacrifice?
How come?
Thinking about to sacrifice, yeah.
Come on.
Oh, I don't have no time. I'm thinking too much. Is it 3? No increment?
No, correct.
Oh, fuck, bro.
You say you have a meeting.
I say 3-2. I usually do 3-2.
Does he say you have a meeting at 4? So I just meant.
Yeah. It works. It looks fine.
Yeah.
Sure. Some time here. Okay. Fuck, bro. Why is there no increment? I'm stressed now.
Don't 20 seconds. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's play. Let's play. Have you any blunders here?
It's okay. Don't worry about it. Let's play. Blue. Sacrifice.
Oh, shoot. Did I miss this? Okay, I'm gonna lose on time. Oh, let's go. Let's go over here. Go over here. Oh, shoot.
Okay.
No way.
Let's get it. Your king is exposed, but you had material advantage. So
I think I was.
we'll probably get a draw or something.
Yeah. Shoot, bro. Increment 3 to the next time.
Nice.
Taking.
Take care, buddy.